Boise State's Kellen Moore was named an All-American this afternoon by the Football Writers of America, marking the first time a BSU player has been named an All-American. However, as mentioned earlier, Kellen finished fourth in the Heisman Trophy.
Tammy, we are down here live at Bronco Stadium. It's time for the annual fall scrimmage. Now, tonight, things are going to be a little different as BSU coaches are trying to promote a game day atmosphere here in Bronco Stadium.
Well, they say all things happen in threes. That applies to not only the Boise State men's basketball team, but the Minnesota Vikings, who for them, it's their season, their stadium, and now possibly their quarterback. Details coming up next in sports.
I will be playing the part of Kirk Herbstreit. I'm standing over with Lee Corso. Lee, who is your pick between Meridian High School and Capitol High School?
You know, I like Kip.
Now, if you're one of those hockey fans that likes to go to see fights in hopes that a hockey game breaks out, then you'll probably never miss a game between one of the ECHL's most heated rivalries, that being the Steelheads and the Utah Grizzlies. Adam Huxley getting ready to go to blows with Riley Emerson. Emerson also took on Brad McMillan Wednesday night. Then Steve Alexi decided he wanted to go up against Marcus Carroll. And then finally Chris Hepp figures, hey, maybe I can throw it down with the Utah Grizzlies as well.
They were teammates and friends, and now they're no longer teammates. And depending on what day of the week, they may or may not actually be friends. Either way, NBA's most talked about rivalry was back on the court again this afternoon.
The gauntlet is thrown. You have said you were a band geek for weeks. Show it to us.
Yes. Oh. Plus, find out, speaking of the Steelheads, how I managed to work Charlie Sheen and the Steelheads into the same story. $2 million, which is what Sheen makes an episode. They can then go on to own the team.
Maybe Charlie shows up as well, huh?
It could be.
You never know. He's not missing the cameras these days.
They've actually offered him a spot to come down. They would give him one of the free Charlie Sheen tickets because apparently he's passed his drug test. So.
I guess he wouldn't be sitting in the nosebleeds. Yes.
Probably not.
Okay,
the game, and I'm standing here with former Boise State kicker Kyle Brotzman. Now, what's it like getting out in front of the fans for the first time at this scrimmage?
It's exciting. They want to see what's going on, and you want to just put on a good show for them.
Did you guys get a little nervous? Does the team get anxious, or are you just excited to be back out in front of the fans?
There's a little excitement. There's nervousness, but it's all good. You know, they're all excited to get back out there and start playing and get a full contact.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And again, we will have highlights from tonight's scrimmage coming up at 10. Tammy?
Welcome back, and thank you for choosing KBOI2 Sports. I'm Matt Johnson, filling in for Troy Oppie. Tonight it was game 2 of 3 between the Boise Hawks and the Spokane Indians. Now, before we get to the highlights, I ask those of you watching at home if you would please rise. If you're wearing a hat, please take it off. I now present to you in footage you will only see on KBOI Channel 2, 6-year-old Micaiah Bernal. She's 6. I'm 30. I can't sing like that. Did a great job. Here, Luis Luria gets the start at pitch for the Hawks. Top of the first, Trevor Adams at bat for the Indians. 2 outs, 2 strikes. He would strike out. Moving on now to the bottom of the first, John Cucaruda on mound for the Indians. King Minna sends him back to him, and the Indians get the out at the first. Top of the second, kind of a scary moment here. Had one of these last night too. Luis Luria's pitch hits Zach Cohn, and that is an automatic walk to first. Crowd not happy, but rules are rules. Now, if that's not enough, getting an automatic walk to first, Zach Cohn had to go and steal second base. Staying in the top of the second, Guillermo Pimentel ground ball to right field. That would be a double, and guess who's going to score the run for the Indians? It's Zach Cohn. He's all over the place tonight. Bottom of the third, the crowd tries to get the wave started before we get to the beer batter, everybody's favorite hitter of the night. Tonight's beer batter is none other than Wilson Contreras. Here we go. There's ball number 1. There's ball number 2. There's ball number 3. Guess what's next? It's ball number 4. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got dollar beers for 15 minutes at Hawk Stadium. The crowd definitely loving that one right there as they head for the beer stands. Bottom of the third, Chad Noble, we are tied at 1 with a ground ball to left field. He makes it to first, and Wilson Contreras, again, he's back, makes it across the plate to put the Hawks up by 1 run, and the Hawks would go on to win it by a final score of 3-2. Now up in the major leagues, it's the Rays and it's the Astros. No, that wasn't in reverse. He was actually running backwards. Top of the first, B.J. Upton gives the Rays the early lead with a 3-run homer to left field. Ben Zobrist and Eva Longoria, scores Upton's 11th home run of the season, third of the series, 3-0 Tampa Bay. Top of the sixth right here, Eva Longoria hits the pitch to deep center field. Now it appears to bounce off the wall as the Astros continue to play. Longoria is tagged out at second. It was initially ruled a two-base hit, but after a review, the umpire saw a fan reached over the wall, and the call is reversed. The two-run shot is Longoria's 8th of the season. Johnny Damon scores as well, and we are all tied up at 7. Bottom of the sixth here, again tied at 7. It's balloon animal time with David Price as he figures out how to make balloon handcuffs and puts them on Jeremy Hellickson. The Rays would go on to win by a final score of 14-10. The U19 Supernovas were Idaho's lone team in today's final matchups of the Far West Regional Championships. Several Idaho teams from Idaho have made the finals in previous years, but no team has ever won it all. Now, 3 things are key when it comes to soccer. It would be the teams, and then, of course, you have to have some fans, and there's a crowd, but soccer is made by none other than the Vuvuzuela. Here we go in the first half. Haley Hughes from the Real Colorado Nationals. She dumps it in front of Ariels Armijo, and she's barely going to squeak this one by. It is 1-0 Nationals, and who likes it? That guy right there. Very excited all game. The Nationals goalie misses the pass back. Mia Malaya is able to capitalize on the mistake. Novas tie it up at 1 apiece. Mia is shaken up on the play, but she would be okay. On to the second half, a textbook corner kick. Catherine O-Ring drops it in for the header. That flies by and finds the back of the net. Nationals back up by 1. Right here, Mia Malay passes to Shalise Miller. She is going to drill it in just barely over the fingertips of the goalie. Novas tie it up again at 2 apiece. Now we are moving on down to the final minutes of the game. The ball kick from midfield bounces off one head right there, off another head right there. Then Amanda Soderline is able to get in to former Centennial High star Sofia Huerta, who takes it around left, drills it in. Novas up by 1. And of course, we got to have the Vuvuzuela again. And there it is. Now we're down to about the final 3 minutes of the game. Colorado shot on net. Boise goes for the clear, but it is not to be as Colorado is able to find the back of the net. Again, we're all tied up at 3. Just minutes later, Catherine O-Ring, another well-placed kick, gets to Lauren Heap, who gets the header. The Nationals go on to beat the Novas by a final score of 4-3. After the game, the Novas would thank the crowd for the support, and we did catch up with Novas head coach Michael Malay and Sofia Huerta to get their thoughts on such a tough loss and playing in front of today's huge crowd.
My heart's just, it's broken. I mean, my heart's broke for these kids, you know. They did everything they needed to do, and that's the cruelty of this sport. I tell you, when you think you have it in hand in the last few seconds, I mean, you see the result. But, you know, it's an amazing group. They've accomplished quite a bit on an individual and collective level, but I'm incredibly proud of them. They win with class, they lose with class, and absolutely a classy group.
No, just getting this far and being able to, you know, play this game in front of Boise and stuff, it was a great opportunity. And I mean, obviously we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but just the fact that we made it this far and we played it as a team and we gave them a run for their money. Win or lose, we still made them work for it. So I think it's gratifying just to get this far. And, I mean, it's okay.
So definitely a tough loss by the girls, but the crowd was great. Probably at least 300 to 400 people there, and played a great game, but came up just a little short.
Good. All right, maybe next.
Well, switching gears, if you are just a big kid at heart, you're going to like this next story.
Yes, let it ride. That's what the Capital Dirt Burners are all about. Matt Johnson is live in the studio to explain. Matt.
Mike, Tammy, remote control cars, they were the cool thing to have when you were younger. Some people lost interest in them as you grew older, but for the Capital Dirt Burners, RC racing is much more than a widespread personal hobby. It's a family affair. The dirt, the maintenance, the passion, it's what RC racing and the Capital Dirt Burners are all about. The club started back in 1987 and brings local and traveling RC fanatics together. In fact, racers from all over the Northwest visit Boise to compete with the Dirt Burners.
This is my love right here. This is why I like racing.
Mike Ward of Rock Springs, Wyoming, traveled 8 hours to put his passion to the test.
Any kind of racing, I'll talk your leg off when it comes to racing, and I'm just racing is just in my blood.
That's the case with all the competitors that show up each Sunday race day. Racing is a lifestyle, and for many, it's a family affair.
We've got about 10 families that race together, and we've also got a lot of individuals that race together as well. But we try to aim more towards the families because we want the kids out here to be able to grow our hobby.
Seth Reese started racing after his dad gave him an RC car. He's raced for about 5 years now, and he's not planning on slowing down anytime soon.
My mom, my dad, and everybody in my family say I'm good at it.
But the main reason Reese comes out to the track is simple.
It's just so much fun.
Reese and other racers will compete at the end of the season for a gift card to a local hobby shop, which can only fuel the passion and lifestyle of the Capital Dirt Burners. The Capital Dirt Burners generally race on Sunday at the Fort Boise track. For a full schedule of races and more information on the Dirt Burners, you can visit their website at www.capitaldirtburners.com. Mike, Tammy.
It's usually seen at tailgate parties or even on camping trips. But today, people from all across the valley took to the field at Hawk Stadium for a cornhole tournament. But what exactly is cornhole?
Well, a lot of people know what horseshoes is, and cornhole is a lot like, they call it soft horseshoes. So you throw back and forth, you play to 21, and when the bag hits the board and stays on the board, it's a point. If it goes in the hole, it's 3 points, and you play to 21.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and if you ask the participants, it was just that. But it was also for a very special cause close to one Treasure Valley resident.
My law partner, Ted, out of Oakland, California, has a young son. He's 26 now. He got ALS when he was 22. Today we're having a fundraiser to raise awareness for ALS research in the United States. Specifically, we're focusing on young people who have contracted ALS under the age of 30.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
ALS, often referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. When Joe Harris, an active sportsman and avid hunter, was diagnosed with ALS 14 years ago, a tough decision for most was easy for him.
Joe chose actually to live with ALS rather than die with it. And I think that's a huge difference that we've experienced over what maybe some other families have experienced, is that he immediately identified ways that he could help other people with the disease and be a more vital participant in family life.
Joe's daughter Katie was born after his diagnosis. So while Joe couldn't physically participate in her childhood activities, that doesn't bother Katie one bit.
He's just a great dad. I would say that if in class there was an assignment you had to do somebody that was your hero, I would pick him.
So far there is no cure for the disease, but organizations such as the Young Faces of ALS and thousands like it across the country hope that their fundraising efforts will aid researchers in finding one soon.